Dog Nation, Jackson Jennets. We're going to have a great show for you this week. We got Gingy back, and we're keeping it fully nonsensical. But before that, hit him with the intro.
Nonsensical Pittsburgh Steelers talk. Every single week we take that walk through the history, the present, and the future bright. Steel City stories shining ever so light. Yeah, Viking, Donkey, Gingy, Lasker, a legendary crew. Talking Steelers football through and through.
That's right, Dog Nation. We have Gingy in the house for this one. Gingy, off-season. Good time to stay nonsensical. Is nothing really happening outside of rookies getting numbers. Schedule going to be released this week. And, Aaron Rodgers drama. That isn't drama. Arizona wants him, but no, they don't. They're going to pay, big money to keep, or not big money, but for some reason just give Brissett a raise, even though he didn't do anything to earn it. But they want to show he's quarterback one. And wasn't Rodgers supposed to be in town this weekend to sign a contract? Except Omar Khan has no idea about it. Gingy, clickbait media, it's that time. Let's get crazy with it. How you doing?
Gingy in the house. We doing all right, Donkey. We looking at all the shenanigans, the nonsensical. Listen, I thought we were the nonsensical, right? This actually is putting us out of business this season because this is more nonsensical than we are, in my opinion. Okay,
What?
We were supposed to have
people sleeping with coaches, or clickbait being the way to go.
We took this big bully stance. Oh, Rodgers by the draft or else, right? And here we are in limbo. Everybody's talking. Is he coming? Is he going? And really, if he's coming, what does he want, right? I don't think we're talking about the same deal that he got last year. He's looking for something a little bit different. And how far deep are you willing to go with him?
$15 million. Because that's the tender we put on him. That's where I'm willing to go. If they signed Rodgers for $1 more than that, they made a mistake.
That's what it seems like he's working around, trying to work himself a deal in here. And at the end of the day, Donkey, does he have the leverage to do that?
No, because he can't sign, or if he signs with any other team before a certain date, the Steelers get a contract with him. But you have to remember, if he doesn't sign, I think, before the start of preseason, he can't negotiate with any other team unless the Steelers allow it. He has zero leverage. And hear me out on this. He has zero leverage because every other team in football decided to get a starting quarterback but your Pittsburgh Steelers. Every other team has one. You could argue Arizona, but, dude, they wouldn't offer Brissett a raise, bring in Gardner Minshew, and spend a third-round pick on Carson Beck if they wanted Aaron Rodgers.
That's very true. All three of those things go against that assumption, Donkey.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking... go ahead.
And then I guess the other team, maybe you could say, hey, maybe they're interested, right? Would be Atlanta, but Atlanta really seems set in it's either Michael Penix Jr. or Tua, right? So...
It's got to be Penix Jr. for them. They paid a king's ransom at an odd draft position for that, if I recall.
No, it's more they drafted a guy nobody thought was a first rounder in the first round. See also Los Angeles Rams, Ty Simpson, as why people question the Michael Penix pick.
Sure. Absolutely. If Rodgers comes back to Pittsburgh, he's clear week one. If he does not, Donkey, who's the week one guy?
It has to be who's the best out of Will Howard and Drew Aller, correct? Because you have to have one of those young guys look in. And the reason you keep a guy like Mason Rudolph is Kenny Pickett talked about having him there. You've heard other young guys talk about how Mason's really good in the quarterback's room, right? So Mason being a really good guy to help teach people along is what you want. And then you got to figure out which one of these guys is the answer, right? And if they're not the answer, then the question is which 2016 class quarterback, 2017 class quarterback, which college quarterback from this or 2026 season is the one you want, right? Because there's a bunch of them that are supposed to be first-round talents. Now, a lot of them I'll argue, no, they're not. But let's be honest here. The two best quarterbacks that were going to be in this class didn't come in this class. So that means you have those two guys plus whatever can come out this year. I'm just saying, it's a good time to find out. And personally, we've talked about it. The whole goal of bringing in Mike McCarthy is to find a franchise quarterback. Why not start this year?
Yeah, that seems like the logical thing, right? I don't know. I feel like that would be in McCarthy's best interest. Him continuing to kick the can down the road really ensures a short tenure for him in Pittsburgh. The only thing that ensures a longer tenure is if he finds the guy.
Let's be honest here, Gingy. What's in McCarthy's best interest is Aaron Rodgers. There's no doubt about it. The Steeler fans, if he doesn't win early, are going to question him. His best chance of winning early is Aaron Rodgers. Let's be honest here. Whether Will Howard or Drew Aller are going to be good NFL quarterbacks, they're not going to be as good next year as Aaron Rodgers would be. Simple, easy. His best interest is Aaron Rodgers. I think the Steelers organization's best interest is finding out who, if either of these kids are doing it, and if not, who do they want then, right?
Right.
But I think McCarthy and I think Omar Khan are going to feel a lot of pressure to bring back Aaron Rodgers because they have to prove they can make this team better than what Mike Tomlin did, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's that simple. I mean, they have to prove it, and Aaron Rodgers is the guy who gives you the best chance to prove it. Whether or not I think that's the best move, I already told you. Hell no, Gingy. It's the worst move they can make because since about 2018, is that when Ben hurt his arm? We have been putting off this idea of giving a young quarterback a chance. And by that, I mean putting a young quarterback in a situation to succeed and get a chance to succeed. Mike Tomlin would never do that. Mike Tomlin would never hire an offensive coach that would do that. So we were never going to see it with Tomlin. Tomlin needed an old vet who's willing to just control the football. This might be the first time we get a young quarterback in the situation to succeed since for about a decade, and the Steelers need to start doing it now. We can't stick with this old homage of, oh, we're just going to keep these recast out there. Because let's be honest, do you expect another down year from every team in the AFC North? Because that's what we had last year, was a down year from all these teams that have elite quarterback play.
Yeah, looking at them, maybe. Wouldn't count on it.
I don't expect the Bengals to be bad again, like that bad. I honestly don't expect Baltimore to be that bad. They moved on, right? Moving to a more system that probably will better fit their quarterback. But then the question also is, Gingy, do you expect the powerhouses to be bad again? Do you expect to see Kansas City struggle? Do you expect to see Houston take another step back? Because unless you really drastically improve somewhere, do the Steelers have a chance in a playoff game again? And that has to be the question. I said last year I loved it because I felt, especially getting into the season, I felt like there were cracks in the AFC that could be exposed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I feel that way anymore. I don't see the cracks that are there to be exposed. What I see is a new coming of football teams that's going to challenge the current, plethora of monsters. And what I saw was, and hear me out on this, I saw Cam Hayward define everything I've seen about aging players to put out an amazing season, and I watched age get to TJ Watt. If you don't believe it's age, look at his get-off time the last 4 seasons. Look how it's drastically gone up. It's almost up like 1/10 of a second every year. That's not due to anything other than age. It's to reaction. It's to his, physical ability. Dude, are we really going to bank on an aging defense? And don't get me wrong, I think our corners are great. I think the defense has a chance to be a really solid unit. But do they have the ability to be Houston Texans good, Gingy? That's where we'll have to be a team that competes this year. Do you think that's where they can go?
I think so. With those corners, if they're all competing at top level, What we haven't been able to talk about yet in terms of quarterback play is the associated players around that person. There's ultimately an opportunity with two viable wide receivers that we have a real offense, perhaps. Quarterback play is going to be essential
the
here,
biggest
Donkey.
question to ask you. Do you have faith at left tackle?
I do. Donkey.
Do you have faith at left guard?
Not as much.
Do you have faith at right tackle?
I do.
I think you're crazy. Remember last year, Aaron Rodgers was the quickest quarterback to get the ball out of his hands most of the year. Remember that. And do you remember why he was? Because that offensive line sucked. Okay? We've drafted a bunch of offensive linemen, and I think McCarthy, with the way he's doing it, is going to get more out of these guys. But they have to prove it to me before I give them any kind of credence. Let's not act like that offensive line was good last year. That offensive line was bad. And I don't know if they fixed it. Like, I like Max as a draft pick. I said that, but he's raw. Anyone who tells me Troy Fontana is the answer at right guard, or right tackle, excuse me, put on the Houston Texans playoff game and watch him get turnstiled 3 times in a single game and still tell me you feel confident about him as your starting right tackle. Now, as for Broderick Jones, dude, put on any of the games last year and tell me that dude's a cornerstone left tackle. Hell, you know why I don't have faith, Gingy? Because the Steelers themselves don't have faith in any of their left tackles. They declined the 5th-year option on Broderick Jones, and they signed Dylan Cook to the minimum contract they could and didn't try to give him an extension where they'd be able to hold him for 2 to 3 years. That tells me they don't have faith either of those guys as a starting left tackle. And if the Steelers themselves, who are terrible recently at judging offensive linemen, don't think those guys are starter capable, why the hell should I?
We'll have to see how the new system works, Donkey. You know, there's something to be said in regards to the change of a coaching staff, the change of everybody. We haven't seen this change in Pittsburgh in 20 years. I mean, this isn't just a coordinator, Donkey. This is an entire new... This is supposed to be new philosophy, right?
Blocking scheme is very much still zone-oriented. I don't know how Pat Meyer, the way he teaches people, is dumb. But I hear what you're saying. But my absolute counter to that is, yeah, I agree. I think things are going to get better with these guys. My biggest problem is the Steelers have drafted people who have fallen to where they've drafted for a reason, and everybody else has let them go. And the Steelers act like we got superstars every time. And I think we got, at best, average players. Like, I liked Troy Fontana when I said that. I said he needed to clean up some things and he needs to get, a little lighter on his feet. And through a year, now don't get me wrong, year 2's where I really will judge him. But his first year, man, it's just, it's not good enough. None of those plays have been good enough. And that's not even talking about the 2 in the middle, who, by the way, were average at best players at their position. Both of those guys were average at best. You need something better than that to be, next level, especially when you don't have a great quarterback, right? Like, great quarterbacks can make up for some bad offensive lines. You've seen it from Patrick Mahomes. You see it with the ability of, why can't I think of his name? The dude in Buffalo, Josh Allen. You see it with Lamar Jackson. You need a guy who can go back there and make a play. Is Drew Aller that guy? I don't know. Is Will Howard that guy? Probably not, at least in the athletic perspective. I don't see... I guess what I'm going to say here is I don't see where any of the quarterbacks on this roster make this team a Super Bowl contender. And if we're going to delay the rebuild like we have for a decade, again, for Aaron Rodgers has to make this team a Super Bowl contender. And even with the new fancy weapons on the outside, Gingy, here's the thing, and Jacksonville ran into it last year with their team. Do your wide receivers matter if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw?
Probably not, especially not guys who are supposed to stretch the length of the field.
No, and that's what Jacksonville ran into a lot last year. Trust me, their team was okay when their line looked okay, but their line wasn't very good a lot of games, especially against, a team like Houston. And
Mm-hmm.
they got obliterated in those games because your
Mm-hmm.
quarterback doesn't have time to throw. Now, I'm not saying the Steelers can't go out and win 12 games this year. I could very well see that. But my question, Gingy, is the talent on this roster there to win a Super Bowl? And at this point, I have to say no because we came into the season with a glaring need at left guard and then questions at both right and left tackle. And we drafted Max, so that helps with the question at right tackle, right? But now the questions on that left side of the line are so large, you can't ignore them.
Mm.
And let's be
I
honest
see.
here, is Rico Dwaddle an upgrade from what we lost, Gingy? That's the question, right?
I think it's an equivalent.
I don't disagree with you, although it's different ways. Rico's definitely a better, probably pure runner of the football. But man, can he go out and just make amazing one-on-one matchup plays on the outside? No, that's not what his game is. Maybe I love Heidenreich. Maybe that he comes in and actually does that, being a huge receiver out of the backfield for the Steelers and a hell of a seventh-round pick. I'll give you that, and I could see the offense taking. I'll be honest with you here, Gingy. I could see the offense taking a quarter half step forward. But taking a quarter half step forward, Genji, this is the question I'll go to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to beat the Texans?
I think it is. I think it is, Donkey.
You do know we lost to them by 30 points, right?
I do. I do.
So
I
you
know
think
that.
our first step on offense makes up 30 points?
I think it does, Donkey.
Thank you for bringing the nonsense. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it will. I mean, the Texans, yes, they beat the brakes off them, but that game got out of hand early.
And
The
remember,
defense gave
CJ
up.
Stroud was historically bad for a playoff quarterback over a 2-game stretch. Historically bad. And we still got the absolute rails beat off us.
It's true, Donkey. Gonna have to have some big plays in there. You know how I like to win football games, right? Remember how I always talk
Pray to
about
God for miracles like we got against New England where they fumble it 6 times?
Kansas City Chiefs type football where you don't need to dominate all the time, but you need to execute when it matters. I think we have a couple opportunities where we execute when it matters, and we have a home game instead of an away one.
Dude, I know people are going to hate me for this because, LeBron didn't win enough actual championships. It's a lot different when you have frickin' the best player in football as the guy who executes for you, though, Gingy. Like, hear me out. The two teams that you're going to use as examples here for your way of playing football have Tom frickin' Brady and Patrick Mahomes as their quarterbacks. See, the difference is those two dudes controlled every game and knew what they need to do and when they need to do it. I don't give a shit who the Steelers quarterback is. We're not getting that level of play. You can't play that style of football without that guy. And you don't believe that? If you try to argue me any of the Steelers teams of the past 20 years were that team, I'm going to laugh hysterically. The Steelers have never played that style of football. The Steelers have always played get streaky and hope for a big play that turns the tide. And if you don't believe that, Ben Roethlisberger's tackle, first Super Bowl run, James Harrison, and that amazing throw to Santonio Holmes on the second Super Bowl run. The Pittsburgh Steelers are never a dominate the game type of team. They've never been a dominate the game type of team. And I guess that's not what you're saying. You didn't say dominate. You said control. They've never been a control the game type of team. They've always been a team that has to rely on big plays or mistakes. Earlier in Bill Cowher, it was a lot of trick plays with guys like Antoine Randall making throws to Hines Ward or Hines Ward to Randall, vice versa. And after that, it was the defense needs to make a big turnover that switches stuff. The Steelers have never been the type of team that controls a football game. Unless you want to go back to the boring 90s where we would control a football game and win it 13-6, which I don't know if you could say is controlling, Gingy, but I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, when I'm thinking about controlling, I'm thinking about tempo in moments, right? Like, so I don't necessarily even mean control. I mean more like execute when the time's needed. Donkey, how about a special teams? How about a punt return? You want to talk about something we haven't seen in 20 years, I feel.
We've drafted one of those who's supposed to be really good.
How about a punt return? How about something that breaks the game away that isn't just smash mouth slog nose football? Now, at the same time, I think what we've been, what you're alluding to, I think the Steelers have relied on splash plays on defense. That has been the identity. On those games, when we cause turnovers, when we crack the quarterback, we win. And when we don't, we lose. That has been what has dictated there before. And I'd like to see some more of that, maybe that more on the offensive side of the ball, some of that dictation, right? Maybe a big play from a wide receiver, big play from a running back. That's what dictates the game. I feel like that's a more reliable system in today's NFL than relying on the big play from the defense.
I understand what you're saying. But again, big plays require you to possess time to give the quarterback time to move down the field. And the Steelers, while they started last year pretty good as a red zone team, really started to struggle at the end of the season when teams figured out what the heck we were doing and we ran the same 4 plays every time. And they became more of a purely, if a big play didn't happen, they weren't going to score points type of team, is what's weird about it. And I guess what I'm saying here is, I don't think Omar Khan's good at acquiring talent, and I don't see how this team takes that next step right now, right? Like, I'm looking into this season, and to me, this season, Aaron Rodgers comes back, they're going to go 11-6 and get blown out in the playoffs, okay? I'm going to put it on paper right now. I'm going to say it. Aaron Rodgers comes back, they're 11-6, they get blown out in the playoffs. Pure, simple, done. Because I'm not with you, Gingy. I don't think we're even on the level of the Texans. And I think the Texans right now are a tier 2 team in the AFC. I don't think we're on the level of New England. I know we beat them last year, but, dude, watch that game and tell me you thought the Steelers were the better football team. I dare you. You can't, right?
They were, Donkey. They were.
No,
they won the game.
No. We're going to look at this thing realistically. That New England team walloped us and gave us the football 6 times, which is why we beat them. I don't know if it was 6 times, but I think they fumbled 6 times and lost 4 of them. It was something really ridiculous. So right now, you're talking New England, Buffalo, Kansas City, right? That's that tier that has to be that top tier. And I'd argue the Denver Broncos are in there, right? Because to me, Denver is the team that should have won. Dude, Denver's the Super Bowl.
They're tier 2.
Denver is the Super Bowl team if they don't lose their quarterback. They almost beat New England with a backup quarterback who doesn't understand football. Okay? Who's getting sacked and throws the ball backwards while his team's winning. Denver has to be a tier 1 team because they were the best team in the AFC record-wise last year, Gingy, and they should have been a Super Bowl team. There's no way you can't call them tier 1. I'm sorry. Best record in the AFC, should have been to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Let that sink in. And you're going to still call them tier 2?
2.
And a Hall of Fame coach, who, by the way, is working really well there. So I'm going to put a hard stop there, and that's definitely tier 1. Then you get to those tier 2 teams. Is Pittsburgh a bigger threat than what Jacksonville has done to improve their team? Are they a better team than the Houston Texans? Are they a better team than... who else wants to go in tier 2? Cincinnati, then Baltimore. That's going to be the big question. And those two are the bottom of tier 2 for me, by the way. And, of course, you throw into that the Chargers, right? Do they surpass those teams right there becomes a big question. And my answer is, I don't think they do on paper, but I think they could beat those tier 2 teams. But when you're talking Super Bowl competitive, you have to beat a tier 2 team and 2 tier 1 teams. Do you see the Steelers making a run where they beat those 3 of those teams in consecutive weeks. Let's call it, and this is the way I think it's going to work because I don't think we win the division. Look out for really crappy teams to win the division. That's why I think the Bengals probably have the best chance of winning the AFC North this year, mainly because I can't put any bank whatsoever in the Browns and what's going on over there. So I look at the Bengals as winning the AFC North. That means the Steelers get a road game. Let's say the Steelers' first road game is New England. Okay, so they get New England, and then this is a lucky case because their next game will actually, or the championship game would be the tier 2. So they would go New England, Kansas City, Chargers, let's say.
Okay.
I can't see the Steelers winning out the first one, yet alone winning the 3P, which then goes back to the, do you bring back Aaron Rodgers if you can't compete for a Super Bowl?
See, I see that as an absolute dub, donkey. We dubbed that right up, no question.
You're also the one who has for 4 years told me how we're going to compete in the playoff game.
We competed.
When?
We participated.
That's different than competing, all right? There's no trophies for...
There is, though, donkey. There is trophies. There's a trophy for winning the North, and we got it, donkey.
That was Mike Tomlin. Dude, I don't understand why you ever wanted to move on from Mike Tomlin then. You and Mike Tomlin should be in frickin', Cancun drinking your we made it frickin' mimosas all the damn way there, hanging out with Minkah Fitzpatrick, getting stiff-armed into the back of the airplane meme. Like, y'all got what you wanted. And I hear you. And I know a lot of Steelers fans are going to cry this year if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back and we lose some football games. There's going to be a lot of crying Steelers fans. But my, man, I cannot find it acceptable to play football to get blown out in the playoffs. Like, we don't play football to win in the playoffs. We've played football now for a decade, Gingy, to get blown out in the playoffs. And thinking, oh, this guy's going to step up. Oh, that guy's going to step up. That's what gets you there. Do you know what good teams have, Gingy? They have, hey, we got a young dude who's ready to take the position. Hey, we got this next up-and-comer. Hey, we got this next guy on the ball. Do you know who used to be like that? The god-dang Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It was, oh, Plexico Burress is doing this. That's all right. We got Santonio Holmes coming in. Oh, yeah. It's okay that we just let Santonio Holmes walk. We got the Young Money crew coming in. Oh, it's okay that Lev Bell walked. We got James Conner. It's okay that Bettis is gone. We're moving to Fast Willie. It's okay Fast Willie's gone. We got Lev Bell. It used to be this thing where guys push guys out of positions. Now we're here praying to God the guy works. And I don't see how that's any different this year. The depth isn't there. The ability to push it isn't there. The one spot you could argue is outside linebacker, but the guy who should be getting pushed out is getting paid more than most quarterbacks, Gingy. Why?
It's true. Don't have no one to push him out. Living on the legacies.
The one position we're actually deep in is outside linebacker. Like, going with Sawyer and Baby Bro Herbig would not be a mistake. And it would, I understand, blah, 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 legacy, live it out, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Blah, 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 blah.
But when you start running an organization that way, and I've been talking about it, how long have we been doing this show, Gingy? Because that's how long I've been talking about it.
Long time.
At least on a recorded basis is, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is where my problem's going to be. We changed all the pieces on the chessboard, but the problem is they're still checker pieces and not chess pieces. Sure, there's Mike McCarthy there, the new king piece. We'll call him the king piece. We'll say, he's got kinged, right? There's 2 checker pieces there now instead of just what used to be 2 and turned into 1 1/4 by the end. Okay? Cool, we upgraded there. But, dude, the Steelers still run the ship the same damn way because at the end of the day, Art
Mhm.
Rooney right now, the second, is he's out there begging Aaron Rodgers to come back because he doesn't want a losing season. And until you should know this pretty well, actually. A lot of psych in your background, Gingy. What is the biggest enemy of greatness?
Complacency.
Being good. Being good is the biggest enemy of greatness because you will never, if you're good, why would you try to get out of being good, right? And I
Mhm.
feel like we're still freaking stuck there, Gingy. I feel like this offseason's still been stuck there, and I feel like this draft showed that we were stuck there. I feel we've run things the same way we do, the same way we always have, the same way that we're not prepared. And while I'm happy it happened in the draft, Gingy, getting embarrassed in the draft when you're on the phone with a prospect because you're sure you're about to get him and someone goes and takes him from you, dude, that's embarrassing and shows you weren't prepared. And I feel like the way this offseason has started is exactly the way we've been for 10 years. I know the pieces are different. I'm hoping for a better trend offensively. But dude, everything I've seen makes me feel the same way. Like the Steelers have glaring holes that they don't have a true nose tackle and they don't have a guard. And what do they do to fix it, Gingy? We're going to pray a third round pick works out. Do you all remember Kendrick frickin' Green? Do you? Because I do. And while things have changed, I don't feel the whole premise in this building has changed. I feel like, and hear me out on this now, I liked Mike McCarthy when he was first brought in because I thought maybe he could find and develop a quarterback. Still do. Still hope for that, right? I am still going to be
Mhm.
hopeful for that. But Gingy, why, why, why does it feel more and more to me that McCarthy was the guy because he told Rooney that he would say yes? Why does it feel that way to me?
That's not the way it is, Donkey. It's nothing like
Really?
that at all. Not at all. McCarthy is the new age. Nothing like Tomlin.
Dude, you can't
Nothing
even
like.
argue. Mike McCarthy is the offensive version of Mike Tomlin and has
I
been
know.
his whole damn
I know.
career.
I know. I know. That's the funny part, isn't it? That was.
Look at their. It's crazy. Like, outside of the no losing season things, right? Compare Mike McCarthy's career record to Mike Tomlin's and tell me the difference.
It's true. They are very similar story arcs. Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I see.
It's eerie. That's the word I'll use for it. And this kind of got off the rocker. I have no idea how we ended up on this conversation, but it's a good one, Gingy.
Nonsensical.
You said you had it. Was that your special question you were waiting to ask?
Mm-hmm. That's
All
right.
right. Well, I have
Locked
my
in.
point, and I don't know if I said it already because we talked about it before the show, so I don't remember if it was in the show. But Gingy, the worst part of the offseason happened. Apparently, some weird random dude has number 69, so Jennings Dunker doesn't get number 69, and I can't do it anymore, Gingy. All the happiness vibes I had went out the window when he took number 73. I'm done.
As soon as you see that red mullet flowing in training camp, Donkey, you'll feel differently. You won't care what number he's wearing.
Yes, I will, because, dude, he's the perfect person to have to be stuck in 69.
It's a missed opportunity, clearly, Donkey, but I still don't think you're going to be super disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know. You're buying all this talk of Drew Aller being like Ben Roethlisberger. Oh my god, dude, that made me laugh hysterically.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I got a buddy who's a Penn State fan, and I was really educated and informed on Drew Aller over the last couple weeks, Donkey, and I'm not sure that this Penn State fan painted a very good picture for me as to what
He
we got.
shouldn't. Well, a lot of people are saying Drew Aller didn't play an offense that fits him. Dude, Drew Aller, I'm not even going to question his tools because physically he has every tool. There's a reason why he's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, like one of the top quarterbacks coming out. But dude, him, just like Cade Klubnik from Clemson, have this big problem called they can't read a defense. And I don't know if you can fix that at the pro level because I'm still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to learn how to read a defense. And it's why the Jaguars struggle, especially in the playoffs when they play good teams. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ryan Leaf also was ultra talented. Jamarcus Russell also ultra talented in terms of arm strength. But if you can't read a defense, you can't make a play. And
You can't
let's
adjust
not
on the
act like
fly.
let's not act like Penn State was devoid of talent on offense, right? He had superstars beside him on the running back level, the wide receiver level. His offensive line was great at giving him time, and the kid just never performed when he went against top tier competition. And I've always said this, if you want to judge a college kid, don't necessarily look at all their tape. Obviously, especially quarterbacks, look to see certain throws that are NFL caliber throws, but watch how they perform when their team is equal or lower in terms of talent level. And that will tell you a lot about the future prospects. And to me, Drew Aller didn't have it. And a third round pick on him was early. But then again, we spent a fourth round pick on a freaking kick returner. Gingy, at first I was like, I'm pretty solid with this draft because they took position or players I like, in the positions I thought were good. But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, man, we drafted a player around early every freaking time. Like all the guys we took was around early, with two exceptions. Ray Bernard, great pick second round, and Jennings Dunker. I like him where they took him. That's it. Everyone else, it's like you drafted early, except for Heidenreich, but I don't think, seventh round pick for a kid with that skill set is fun. It's just the more I look at this draft, the more I'm like, it's just the players aren't bad, the fit isn't bad, the round's bad, right? It's like a whole draft of frickin' Najee Harris.
Well, I get your point. I see what you're saying there, but ultimately, if it works, it works, Donkey. We don't care,
But does it work?
Nobody cares if you went around too high on Aller if he is the frickin' stud. You see?
I hear you, but Gingy, I'm going to bring up this fun one. Who was the last Pittsburgh Steeler first round draft pick to get a second contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know.
TJ Watt.
You got a couple of them. That's a long time ago. What was that, 15, 16?
Mm-hmm. And Omar Khan ain't looking no better. First choice with Broderick Jones. Gingy, would you pay that man starting left tackle money?
Hell no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Starting left tackle money is real money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like quarterback or pass rusher money. It's big money, and we're not paying that to Jones. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And man, I like trading for Michael Pittman Jr. because he's a name you're gonna know, but I'm not sure he's worth what we're paying him. And hear me out on this. Do you remember like 3 years ago when Michael Pittman Jr. got knocked absolutely into like La La Land?
I do.
He's been an 800-yard receiver since then. I don't think an 800-yard receiver, certainly solid at your number 2 receiver. I'm just not sure he's worth what we're paying him and the length we're going to pay him. It's kind of like the Jalen Ramsey trade, right? It's like, I like the player, I like the position, I like the fit, I hate the money. And I feel like that's become the Steelers. And we've talked about it for a long time. Who was the last Steeler to outperform their contract, right? And you just can't name one. Okay, we can name one. And it was a guy who... I kind of agree with you, except he didn't play last year.
Still,
you're missing the obvious answer, right?
Walker.
The obvious answer is a one season stud, and oh my gosh, why is his name slipping me now? The running back from last year, our MVP from last year.
Yeah.
That's like the last guy. I just, man, I want to be excited. I do. I see where you're coming from. I think this team's 11-6 though with Aaron Rodgers, and that's what makes it hard. Gingy, is if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, I want to know, where do you see this football team?
I see this football team going into full rebuilding mode without Aaron Rodgers. We're not. I don't know though. I'm too afraid that they're still. Okay, so you said week 1 it's got to be Aller or Howard, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Mason Rudolph. I know the answer. The correct answer is Howard or Aller. It's going to be Mason Rudolph.
And that's exactly what I was going to tell you, is that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, I do not think Aller or Howard are going to be quarterback week 1. I think it's going to be Mason Rudolph.
The sad part is I fully agree with you.
And that, to me, is going to be a bigger problem than even kicking the can down the road with Rodgers. Kicking the can down the road with Mason's even worse.
Well, it's probably 3 losses better. I see us being 8-1 with Mason instead of 11-6. Well, I guess 2 losses and a tie better.
And that's if you expect the defense to perform equal to or better than last year, which hopefully we do. But it could be even worse than that.
I don't think it's equal to. I think the defense takes a step backwards. I fully do. I think the offense takes a little step forward. And the reason I think the defense takes a step backwards is I think TJ Watt takes another step backwards, and I think Cam Hayward finally shows age. And those two doing that in the same season is going to hurt this team a lot. I think you see improved play out of the corners, but here's the problem, Gingy. What has always beat the Steelers?
Middle balls.
Yes. Tight ends and running backs. You know what's going to still whoop the Steelers' ass? Tight ends and running backs. So, is what it is. I think the defense takes a step back. I think they're still a top 10 unit. I think the offense takes a step forward, even if it is Mason back there. I think they take that quarter step forward, but I think the step back from the defense is bigger than the step forward from the offense with Mason there, and 8-1 is where I'd expect to go. Also, I think the strength of schedule this year is going to be a little rougher, as I think the AFC, let's be honest here, Gingy, the AFC is kind of a slaughterhouse this year with how many teams do you actually expect to be bad? The Jets, Dolphins, Raiders?
Browns.
Oh, dude, they don't ever even get talked about, okay? Just full disclosure, if we say bad, the Browns are just associated with it, okay? full stop.
Hate mail from Cleveland inbound.
Maybe the Titans, but if Cam Ward is the real deal, they're going to take a huge step forward this year, right? So if Cam Ward's the real deal, the Titans will be decent this year. If he isn't, they're going to suck.
Right.
So you're talking 5 teams that are on that lower echelon. And it's just hard, especially without Aaron Rodgers, Gingy. It's hard because we might have the worst starting quarterback in the AFC if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. That's crazy to think about, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, it is a definite possibility, Donkey.
And
possibility that I'm real concerned about.
Yeah.
No,
Aaron Rodgers comes
win,
back.
But again, that comes back to your... That feels like kind of what you want, Donkey. Is a complete bottom falling out so that it forces a change.
Hey, we got my change without the bottom falling all the way out. However, I don't think a change in perspective has happened, so I'll agree there. I think the complete bottom falling out will lead to a change of perspective and hopefully some new blood being initiated in here. I really do think McCarthy is going to bring in a new life to this offense. I really feel... See, this is a weird spot we're in, right? Because the way Mike Tomlin plays offense supported the defense being in positions to make plays. Mike McCarthy's not going to do that. That's going to leave the defense on an island a lot more often than they've ever seen in the past decade. How are they going to respond is a big question. And will the offense be able, with hopefully this new leeway, to take it and go? There is the potential here. Aaron Rodgers comes back. This offense just lights it up, and all of a sudden we're good, right? That's what we're hoping for.
That's the plan.
Yeah, but there's also the opportunity here. We open it up. Aaron Rodgers looks like an old guy, and the defense gets exposed, and it's like, shucks, and a beep, beep, a lip, beep, beep.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for, Donkey. That's not going to happen.
I hope you're right. I absolutely do. I'd love to see this come together. It's just the more I dig in depth in this, the more I'm coming back to, man, I don't really feel like it's changing. And the reason is, and this still kills me, is this is an organization that's still letting itself be strung along by a 42-year-old diva, dude. And it's upsetting me. I'm not going to lie. This whole Aaron Rodgers garbage has upset me. Because remember, Omar Khan at the end of the year, it was leaked out that, hey, Aaron Rodgers has a thing and we're going to hold him to it and we're not going to wait for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, here we freaking are.
Here we are. I mentioned that earlier.
The same shit, dude. They act like they changed, but they didn't change a damn thing, man. And I'm not going to lie. I was excited about this year. I was excited about the draft, but this Aaron Rodgers shit, dude, has absolutely put me in a sour mood.
Yeah, it's a tough Band-Aid to pull off, like you said, though. Are we going to trot out the worst quarterback in the AFC out there? I don't know if we're prepared to bite that bullet. We've had to do that for quite a while, and I still think we're scared of doing it this year.
Hey, I've had enough Penn State hype people tell me how Drew Aller is the best quarterback in the AFC North already. Okay, Genji?
So yeah, like I said earlier, my only Penn State friend told me that he was just god awful.
I wouldn't put him at that level after watching him. He was never what they expected, but to be fair, he played under James Franklin, and James Franklin is the college version of Mike Tomlin, dude. Talks a great game, the media loves him, but he doesn't win the big well, the difference is he didn't win the big stuff early, so he's never won the big stuff.
I get it.
A good salesman, man, and you know what? It is what it is. Any other thing else we need to touch on here?
What else is going on in the NFL? Anything? Oh, they're selling seats from Heinz Field. Acrisure?
Someone please explain to me why you want to buy an old broken seat. I get fandom, but that stuff never made sense to me.
You gotta truly want it, donkey. I'll tell you that.
Dude, I remember the end of Three Rivers, all the people breaking their chairs and taking it with them.
The 90s. Remember that 2000?
Good.
2000?
Yeah.
When was Three Rivers demolished? 2000?
2001, I think, because I think this is the 25th anniversary for like PNC Park and Acrisure Heinz Field, or last year was. So it was right around that time, yeah. Oh man,
that's funny.
That stuff. I remember my mom buying a big picture that had a piece of rubble from it, and I was like, I get fandom, but I don't get that. I want to have a piece.
That's awesome. I would want a piece, donkey. I'd take it.
Hey, no. Hey, fandom works every way. Different strokes for different folks. We love it all here in the Donk Nation. Gingy, do you have a shout out for this week? Because I don't think there's any other NFL news. Oh, unless you want to talk about what's his face getting off on the assault charges. Wide receiver Diggs.
I'm not interested in talking about that, really.
Okay, well then there's nothing, dude. It's boring time.
And
we're making up stories about Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh now. That's how boring it is.
That's the nonsensical word.
Making up stories about Arizona being interested in Aaron Rodgers. I'll go a shout out this week. And he's probably going to be a shout out a few times this offseason because I think the dude deserved it. He had a great career in Pittsburgh. And let's be honest here, man. Winning a Super Bowl, it's nothing to be short of. He's above average in terms of expected value. Won Super Bowl in less than 32 years. I'm going to give the shout out to Mike Tomlin in the most backhandedly sounding way ever. So there you go. That's my shout out. And now I'm going to let you know I'm the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey Ginger is the awesome channel where you get this content. Working on some fun stuff to come out in this summer. But, kids make life busy. And, well, I get absolutely scatterbrained and forget stuff. But, Gingy, let them know.
Gingy in the house. We hanging out, talking football, nonsensical. It's the off season, folks. Wave them if you got them.
It's in storage.